Welcome back everyone to my channel. I have a problem here I got to take care of. I have along my driveway a bunch of this brush that's growing. It's I think it's called privet, and it's a bush basically. It's very tough, woody material. It's not like a grass here. We're talking an actual bush. And the only nice part about this bush is pretty soon they'll start flowering because we're working our way into spring, and it smells fantastic. It smells really nice. The only problem is this stuff grows like crazy. It keeps coming up from underneath. The roots or they have seeds and they just pop up everywhere. So once they get going, they just spread like crazy. And I have to try and tame this stuff down a little bit. So what I have here is a weed eater, basically. And I have here a curved shaft, meaning this shaft here is straight and then it goes to the angle it needs to be. There's a gear in here, basically, is how this one works. This one, on the other hand, is a curved shaft, and there's a like a wire cable in here that spins. And this is not the one we're going to use. In fact, I do not recommend using this, because what we're going to be doing here is we have two blades here. This is like your typical saw blade. I've done a video on this. I'm going to put that link up here, where I use this to cut up all this brush that you see, grass, trees, small trees that are saplings and stuff. That are up to, I'm pretty sure it was 2 inches. This will cut, no problem. This, on the other hand, I've never tried before. This is a 10-inch two-blade cutter, basically a blade cutter. Not like that blade, but this is like a lawnmower type blade, but it's curved on the ends. Pretty thick. I want to say maybe an 1/8 inch or so. But anyways, they have it in a 10-inch and a 12-inch two-blade and a 12-inch three-blade. Okay. This here is a 10-inch two-blade. I bought 2 of them because I wanted to try it out. They're very inexpensive. They're like, this one here is like around 21 bucks. It's very cheap. Although not very sharp, but I'm going to try it as is. And if I can knock this stuff down, great. If not, then I'm going to put this bad boy back on. This I know works. But that blade is obviously a little more expensive than this. So we're going to try this out, and I'm going to show you how to connect it onto your weed eater, your trimmer. I have an Echo. Mine is a SRM 225, and this is the kit for it right here. I'm going to put a link to this kit in the description under the video. You can check it out. Otherwise, if you can't find the one that fits on yours, in the search box on Amazon, click in or type in your type of weed eater you have, or your trimmer, and blade conversion kit put on there. And there should be several companies that make them for your brand. So let me show you how to put this blade on here and see how it works. So the first thing you want to do is put your trimmer in a vise and snug it down. Don't tighten this too much, because this is just a hollow tube shaft. You might crush it. Just enough to hold it in place. Okay, so we need to take the spindle off here. So what you want to do is right under here. So you can see here, there is a slot right there, and there's a hole. What you want to do is get like a drill or something and stick it in there, and it'll lock the spindle. Okay, now we want to take the spindle off, so you want to, now this is a left-hand thread, so it's the opposite of your lefty-loosey, righty-tighty, okay? It's the opposite. What we want to do is, there, like that. Take the drill out of there. And this comes right off. Next, this slips right off, okay? And just put that aside somewhere. You're obviously going to need the stuff you're taking off in case you want to put it back to a regular trimmer. Now, in the kit, they give you this torque wrench, and these screws have to come off. 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Okay, then you take that off and put that aside. Okay, now the kit gives you a new type of guard to put on there. So once you take the old guard off, you want to put the new guard on. This you'll find in the kit also. You just slip it on there like that. Okay. And they do give you little screws to fit in here. The old ones work just fine, so I'm just going to reuse the old ones again. If they're too long or too short, then just find the one that works best for your trimmer. And you want to snug them down good. Just do not over tighten them. Okay, next they're going to give you two similar looking parts. This one here with the longer shaft right here is for your blades. So in other words, they're for putting blades on. Now there is a spacer that goes in there. I don't have it on yet. But this is for your regular blades. Then you take that off, and if you want to use a thicker type blade, you're going to have to put in a spacer, like this one here, into the shaft. And then this, which doesn't have the shaft here protruding, goes on like that. Okay? Now, with the blade, there will come this spacer here. It brings it to whatever this size here is, to 1 inch. You put that right on there like that. Then we're going to get our blade, and we're going to put it on there like that. Next comes the cap that goes on here and holds, sandwiches everything together. Then it comes with a left-hand nut also. And the same deal, you're going to go to where that hole is on the side to lock the shaft, okay? And then you want to snug it down pretty good. But careful, remember, you don't want to strip stuff. Now, right here, there's a tiny little hole for cotter pin. Okay, it comes with cotter pins. I have a lot of extra ones. Little cotter pin like this fits in there. Okay, and then what we're going to do is I'm going to get me a little screwdriver, and we're just going to bend that like that so it doesn't come out. And in the event that nut should loosen, it'll stop it from coming off and the blade killing somebody. Okay, so let's try it out. So before we get started, make sure you have some type of protective gear on. So here we got eye protection and face protection, ear protection also with this. Also be very aware of your surroundings. Now remember, you got a blade on the end of this thing. Make sure you have no kids around you, okay? And small animals, cats, dogs, whatever, make sure they are away from you, and be safe about it, okay? So let's see how this blade works. Well, looky there. Now, obviously, this thing's going to keep spinning, so be very careful. All right, wait till it stops. Check out the blade here. Nut looks good. Cotter pin is still alive. Okay. Yeah, I'm impressed. I am very impressed. So the blade, it looks like it hasn't even been touched, except for the, you know, the paint peeling off of it, of course. But and the nice thing about it that I like, because it's bent downwards, the blades, when you're cutting, not only can you go back and forth and it'll cut, but if you got a bunch of brush and you go into it like this, from up, you know, to down like that, it'll mulch it right up. I was doing that here. I was going like this, and because the blades are bent down, they will cut right into the branches. And I'm thinking, it looks like, I should say, it'll cut 1 inch blade, or 1 inch, you know, saplings or whatever. No problem, no problem at all. I wouldn't go any bigger than that, because you're going to put a lot, you know, these weren't really designed for that, put it that way. But up to 1 inch, no problem, no problem. Okay, so it looks like this is going to work good. I'm going to go down my driveway a little bit, and I got to clear out that area where my driveway is on both sides. So let's go do that. Okay, one word of caution. Something that just happened. So I'm cutting the brush down, and I felt it start vibrating, going vibrating too much. So I stopped it, and what I think happened is, remember that spacer I put on the blade because the hole was too big? It was a 1 inch spacer. I put that in there. I think what happened, that 1 inch spacer, there's nothing I noticed really holding it down in there. So it might have come out, and the blade might have went off center a little bit. It kind of, there's less space here than there is here. Here it's a little thicker, and here it's a little thinner. I think that spacer came out and the blade shifted. I'm going to take this nut off, and I mean, there's no chance of it coming off because the cotter pin's still in and that nut's still tight. Everything's tight, but that spacer come out. So let's check that out. If that happens to you, stop it immediately and put the spacer back in. We're going to try and put something in there to hold that spacer down in there. All right, let's take this cotter pin off. We'll take the nut off. Well, of course, we have to put the pin or something, the drill in that where that hole is to lock the shaft. Tighty's loosey, because it's a left-hand thread. Ah, what did I tell you? that washer come off. Let me get a close up here. You see the blade is over this way, over to your left. So we have to put that back down in there like that. Remember, do it like this. That goes in there like that. And then the blade goes on like that. You know what? This could almost use another one. If you had two, it would work, I think. But we need to put something in here to keep that down. All right, I was trying to find a washer that will go over here tightly and cover, you know, not quite 1 inch. You know, the OD of the washer, less than 1 inch. And the idea of the washer to be about the size of the shaft. That would work perfectly. The only thing I can find, I found this rubber to a hose, a rubber washer to a hose. And if I put it right in the middle, and if you look at the way this is here, this little taper here, it'll keep that washer from flying around in there. And it kind of snug, and it kind of crushes the washer just a tiny bit. So I think that'll work real good. Keep that right center like that. Put that on there. Put our nut back on there. Okay. Then we're going to put the pin back in the side here. Where is it? There it is. And we're going to tighten this down. There. Now we're going to put our cotter pin back in. Okay. And we're good to go. Much better. Alrighty. Oh man. Whew. That's better. So, what do I think about this blade? I think it's absolutely awesome. What I thought was going to happen, that privet stuff was going to get tangled up in here and it was going to bog down the weed eater. Oh, it doesn't do that at all. As long as you keep your RPMs up pretty high, that is. If you hit the ground or some rocks with this, not a whole big, not a big deal. The other one, if you so much as nick a rock with it or a metal T-post or something, it's done. Your blades are broke because they're too brittle. Okay, this is not as brittle. This doesn't look like it even needs sharpening at all. It looks just fine. I hit the rocks just a little bit, and you can barely even see it on here. So, and that's what's nice too, when it's real viney, this stuff, you can get this like this and go into it rather than just cutting it back and forth. You can go into it like this and kind of mulch it up. I had some viney stuff over here, and that's what I was doing. I was kind of like pushing down on it, and then on the ground you can basically hover over the grass and it just mulches it right up. So really nice. The majority of it, whatever falls over, I'm tossing it over this way, so when I go by with my tractor, I can just mulch that stuff right up. But all this in here, this was just a one huge mess in here. So later I'm gonna probably come here with my father-in-law and we're gonna pick all this stuff up and put it on this side where I can just come in with my tractor and when I cut the grass here and just mulch it all up. Yeah, much better. So this is all cleaned up on this side, and this side here is much better. You know, once we get all this stuff cleaned up out of here, because like I said, with all this, it's just chop and drop basically. So we got to get all this stuff out of here. I'm going to put a link in the description under the video to this and to the blade also, and the kit is going to be in the description under the video. Okay, so thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys in my next video.